Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for being attentive in our uh, today's session. I'm your host Maratib, and we will arrange two sessions actually today. And the first session will regarding the living with seven habits based on the success stories of different people from the different part of the world. Uh, they are sharing their, the great achievement in their lives and how they cope their life in different dimensions in their personal and professional or in a team development. And the Stephen Covey wrote a book based on the success story. The book name is The Living with the Seven Habits. And today I'm going to share with you a story number nine. Uh, and I have already shared eight stories already in last 8 weeks, and this story is very insightful as well. Uh, and the second session we will have on acceptance of self and others, which is we will start this session after right finishing this session. So this session, the first session will take around 20-25 minutes or maximum 30 minutes. And then after 2-3 minutes break, we will start our second session. So I will not brief about the second session again, uh, but let's start our first session. And at the moment, I am live on my with my Zoom audience. We are growing very well on Zoom. I have 205 people registered for this class, and a lot of people are on Facebook live as well. So this session is actually what is about what you are going to learn from next 30 minutes. The first thing you are going to learn about if you are experiencing family issues or and you want to do the best thing exercise from yourself, or you want to know how the positive scripting can help not only for you but for your children, then this session is for you. Or if you have a negative experience in the past and you don't want let them control you, so this story is for you as well. This story will also tell you that the how you can accept your circumstances and you can make yourself rich to grow and to help your environment and people around you to create a great environment as well. It will also help that how positive parenting help not only for yourself but for your children to to make something significant in their life. Also, there are so many family dynamics and ups and downs everybody in every culture have. So it will also help you how you can cope and you can handle your family dynamics in your life. Also, if you have a discrimination of or from your colleague or your childhood experience from your class fellows, if they have bullied you, or you know that your children can be bullied, or they can have offensive responses from the environment, so this session is for you. Also, if you want to get a motivation from your parents, whether your father, your mother, your fosters, your carers, or your mentors, so this session is also for you. Last but not the least, that this session will help you how you can stay positive in a different circumstances, even the most challenging circumstances you have ever experienced. And so this is overall a picture of this story. We are going to learn and read this story very shortly, but you need to be very well informed that how this story is going to help you and your environment. One thing you need to know, and I always emphasize that don't forget that to implement any new learned things you know, and don't put your any new thing learned in the future. you can implement any new learning things or any new understanding you have built right now in a present moment. You bel- you don't need to live in your past, you don't need to live in the future, because the past and the future don't have any influence, real influence in your life. Only you can change your life in the present moment, now, right now. What you are doing, what you are thinking, what you will take home from this session, or what we will discuss in this session, and what you have decided to implement, that will going to be changing your life. No in future, and no any regrets from the past. So that's, I'm very telling you very clearly, and that's a secret shout from my side. Uh, so, and this session will also tell you which couple of habits, how you can implement. The habit number one, the be proactive. That is going to be learn how the narrator has changed his life. Also, the bank account, emotional bank account with your husband, emotional bank account with your parents, emotional bank account with your friends and family, your wife, or anybody, how it's going to be happen. And also the interpersonal relationship, especially the between children and parents, because this story is mostly covering the life events of children and the parents. So I'm going to tell you a very brief summary of this story first, and then we will learn from the narrator's mind in 2 3 paragraphs. So this story is about a person, a boy, who was a youngster in the family, and he was grew up in a very good environment. His parents were great. They gave positive outlook to that boy. But unfortunately, that boy's mother died because of bleeding ulcer. That's a disease he mentioned. Very when he was 9 years old, and then his home dynamic started to change, and the household start to shout and yelling each other, because they were afraid. Obviously, there is no mom in the home. Only the dad, who was the dad of 5 person, 5 children. That dad was a great person, but he could not cope with 5 children to look after, whereas he was an employee as well. So in this difficult circumstances, his dad remarried with another divorcee, and who had already 2 children as well. Now that lady, when came the home, the 5 children, they did not accept her. Neither she did not care them very well, and they they were nurtured in a very vulnerable and bad environment. And that boy, who was nourished very well with his real mom and the dad, did not uh, give up, and uh, he tried to get motivation again and again, and he picked the things from the dad, and his dad prepared him and fueled him with a great wisdom, so that he should not be uh, a victim of that environment which he gets after getting his stepmother. And then I mean, he did not give up, and he eventually was on the path of success in spite of the bad environment he found. So there are so many dimension in this story. This is a quick story which I show you, but later, now we will enjoy this story after reading what actually had happened, and we can pick our things what we need to do, and we need to get ready for our own circumstances to change positively. So and Stephen Covey wrote about this story, about that. He said this story is about power of deeply affirming another person, person's worth and potential. Because positive scripting occurred early in the boy's life, and because it was so constant and sincere, it soaked into his soul and became like a freshwater spring in his life. Circumstances on the surface that might otherwise have been polluted had no lasting impact. So that's a very brief description about this story, according to Stephen Covey, who is the author and authority in leadership development in the world. So let's going to start a story. This story is of three paragraphs, and as usual, I will ask my audience to read for me. Before I'm going to read this story, I want to brief about myself. My name is Maratib Ali Shad, and I try to help the people through my blog, through my videos, through my regular sessions on Facebook Live, and also on Zoom. You can join me on my YouTube channel as well, where I'm trying to building a community. Uh, and also, you can subscribe my blog as well, which is on www.maratibalishaad.com. You may have find the link there below. And we do these sessions every Sunday, 1 p.m. UK local time. And that's half of 30 minutes each session I do. First session I do based mostly on 7 habits and its related content, or 8 habit and its related content. And second session is more deeply from spirituality point of view, where we touch many different things, and we have more deeply understanding about different dimensions of the life in the second session. So we are at the moment on the first session, which is related with 7 habits. So let's go and let's start with our audience. We have some new audience as well. Naomi, Franji, and Javeria Fatima, and Mike also. So if they can help me to read for us as well, so I can. That will be helpful for us. So, but let's start it. We can start from Jenny, if she can read it, and then I will request Mike the second paragraph he can read, and then Zara, she can read the third paragraph of the story, and then we will conclude this story. Uh, so Jenny, if you can start it, please.
I was raised in a wonderful family, never demeaned, abused, or torn down. I was taught that I was capable, special, destined for great things. I think those daily affirmations really helped shape me because given what happened when I was 9, I could have gone seriously wrong. I was the youngest of 5 children when we learned my mother was suffering from a bleeding abdominal ulcer. Suddenly, early one morning, she had a heart attack. I remember it was 6 in the morning when she died. It was completely unexpected. Suddenly, our house was filled with screaming, screams of utter despair. My family, especially my father, went into shock. But somehow I got sent to school that day. My mother had just died. My father and sister were devastated, and I got sent to school. I remember one kid yelling at me from across the playground as I walked in from recess. Hey, Holbrook, I heard your mom died. I'll never forget that yell across the playground. Hundreds of kids heard him. I said, yeah, she did.
Excellent reading. Thank you so much. So that's how over starting of the story, and sadly his mother was died. But the more importantly, the problem, the house became stableless, and this instability leads the shouting and yelling at home. Although they belonged to very good family and the norms when they were living as a full family with the mother as well. But now, because his dad or the guardian of the family is in shock because of his wife is no more, and he has to look after the five kids and growing kids. They were the young kids as well. So, but they were not. They were in sort of denial situation because they were not accepting that I mean, he was not accepting that his mother is died, and but he realized when he was yelled by his class fellow in the break in the school that, oh, I heard that uh, that your mom died. So and children, they do often, if they know that something happened with my class fellow, and they describe as well, even not the child has a bad intention, but the listener who is a victim of any bad past event, he start to perceive it that it is some sort of uh, pinching me because there is something wrong from my side. And then and then he said, yes, she did. I mean, she died. uh, it helped, this sentence actually helped him to face the reality that now his wife, sorry, his mother is died. Now he has to cope himself. He has to stand himself. He has to go with the life as it is, which we will learn in the next paragraph. So, and that's happened with many people. It happens with me as well when my dad died and my dad passed away, and I was for many long time I was in denial situation that no, it cannot happen, it cannot happen. My dad cannot be died. How I can be alone without my dad? But later, when we stand with these life realities, then we have to accept. Until we don't accept, we cannot proceed. We cannot grow, and that happened with that boy. So let's have a look at what happened in the next phase of the story, and then we can. So I will ask Mike if you can read it, please, for us.
I'll never forget that reply because it taught me to recognize what had happened, to accept it, and to move on. Now that approach probably wouldn't work, or now that approach probably wouldn't work for everybody, but it worked for me. I learned I could accept and endure and move on through the hard time. Things actually only got worse. My dad was an old time physician, set bones, delivered babies, out on call all night, every night. He had these five young kids with nobody to take care of them. So he remarried very quickly. She brought with her three children, two of them close to my own age. So all of a sudden, this strange woman who really didn't care for me or my siblings was raising me. They divorced horribly after about 6 years of marriage. Let's just say from 10 to 17 years of age, I was raised with really interesting family dynamics.
Thank you. Great reading. Excellent. So now this is the phase of the his life that when his dad was remarried with a lady. So both sides did not felt comfortably with each other for many years, and that eventually this that marriage was ended also. I'm not saying that, or I'm not judging that that lady was wrong, or that lady really did not care, because there are many tags our societies they give to the stepmother or step brother or step sister, that they will be bad people anyway. My The real mother is my real mother, the other mother cannot be my real mother. That's the prejudice, that's the biasness we brought up in our society everywhere in the world. And that's maybe happened. Yeah, I'm just presuming that because the narrator of the story had sounds like he does not have a good vibes about his stepmother, which may be his biasness. Maybe she, tried to give them best, but obviously the emotional attachment with the real mother is something unmatchable in our life, and the other lady cannot take. So we try to fill that gap with our prejudice and biasness and hatred which our society give. Because in our society, which we learn that the stepmother, stepbrother, stepsister, or step-in-laws or anything, they always are bad people. They are evil or some sort of, and that's reflect on the events as well, from their side and also from my side as well. So that's irony, I must say. But the more importantly in this story, that their marriage, the second marriage of the dad, could not last as well, and that also ended with the divorce. But the what happened in the next, then obviously in these bad circumstances, he did not uh, get give up. And what happened, he always had a good relationship with the dad, and his dad was a great person, because every night when he was on the bed, the narrator, the boy who is telling the story, when he was at the bed, his dad used to tuck him with a very beautiful motivational things at the time of sleeping, and that was emotional bank what he got every time, every day, and that made him more stable, more mature, and more positive person in the life, which he explained in the last paragraph of the story. uh, but he did not let anything to the circumstances, and although he received so many negative experiences, but he refused to have a negative impact from the experience. That is a proactive. That's a habit number one. Begin with be proactive. So Stephen Covey says that whatever the problems or circumstances happens in your life, you must not be the victim of these circumstances. You have a power to face and go ahead positively in your life. No matter, you are not victim of any person who died in your life. You cannot be victim of a poverty. You cannot be victim of racism. You cannot feel the victim of you are a part of any genetic engineering in your family or in your society. You are not part of any race or agenda. You are independent. You can do anything. You have a power of choice, and you can do anything. Uh, and he did. I mean, when he was nine, his mother died. Then he had to live with five siblings members in his group, and then he was yelled in the school as well many times, and then he was in interaction with his stepmother for many years, which he was not comfortable, and obviously he may have received abusive or emotional traumas from his stepmother, whether he perceived incorrectly or whether maybe she may have behaved not very well with the boy. And that, but what was a constantly he was working, he was exercising, that he has a great emotional bank account with with his father, and his father was going every day with to the boy when he was at the bed, and then he used to say that positive things, and that he admit as well. That boy also said, I'm not really that talented. There are something which I can do, but I'm not a great person. I'm a genius in anything. But the thing which I received, that the great things from my dad every day, that motivation made me be proactive, never let me allow to surrender in the bad experience in the circumstances. And that emotional bank was so good and so great. We will conclude this story But let's try to learn from this story. And I would ask Zara if you can read it, please.
Unknown caller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zara, you are with us? Yeah.
yeah. But those early years of security and positive reinforcement had tremendous impact on me. I refused to let negative experiences steer me down. Through that terrible second marriage, when I had no mother to love or raise me, I still believed with all my heart that I was special and destined for great things. After all, every night my dad, until I left home, came into my room. When I was young, he tucked me into bed, and as I got older, he would just come in to check on me. Every single night, he said to me, "Son, remember, just between you and me and the gatepost, you are an extremely gifted and special young man. There are great things in store for you." At the time, I responded, "Oh, yeah, okay, heard this one before." But those words sank into my bones and my soul. They became a part of me. I'm not really that talented. There are some things I do well, but I am not a genius or anything. However, I never doubted myself. I have never questioned whether I could accomplish anything, whether I was capable of anything. That is perhaps my father's greatest gift to me. He gave me a belief in myself that is unwavering, emotional bank account. He gave me a sense of worth and potential independent of my circumstances, that no matter what happened to me, I could still choose my life. Habit number one, proactive.
Excellent. It's a great reading. Thank you so much. So, uh, if you see that how he is narrating his story, and he looks very positive, and he stay motivated and positive in spite of his negative experiences. This is just a metaphor we can take in our own life as well. The who is watching me and who is listening my voice as well. I ask you, there are so many difficult circumstances you may have in many different ways, uh, especially from family when we were in childhood, and when we were in teenage, or even older when we there were some emotional bank account. We have always a mentorship with someone. Maybe that mentor could be my dad, my mom, my teacher, my someone else. And if we remain connected with that mentor, then their any learning or motivation which they put in my account, and that account is called the emotional bank account between that person and you. That emotional bank account may not have you let down. That emotional bank account gave you the motivation to stand up and go ahead in your life. Of course, you will say, yes, there are maybe many peoples or few peoples or one person who have in this capacity in my life, or who was in capacity of my life, who gave me the power all the time, who stay connect with my life when I was in difficult situation, when I needed sympathy or empathy. That person really gave me, and I did not let her or him down. And I took the positive things and go ahead in my life, whatever the problem I could face in my life, in any situation. Of course, everybody may have. If you do not have that person, or you do, or you haven't realized that person, I would say that try to look around you and see that you may have these people. This life is full of great peoples, and these peoples you can take as a strength and make you stay positive and be proactive. That could be your spiritual leader or guru or your saint or your Sufi or your any person or imam, any person who may have brought great happiness or inspiration in your life. So this story is also telling you about how you cannot put your life on the mercy of circumstances, whatever you have. I understand this is a world of very unpredictability, a very uncertainty. Many people are dying before their time to come. In UK, because of COVID-19, 130,000 people have been died. In America, is touching the 1 million people. In India, again, is disaster. Uh, in many part of the world, so we are losing our loved ones, and they are, and we are also on threat in somehow. If we do not have that emotional bank account, or if we do not stay with the principle of first habit number one, then it will be very difficult to stay and persistent in this difficult challenge. When you are losing your job, you do not have business, your city is locked downing, or again and again, you don't know what is going to be happen. What thing can give you the motivation? It's only you stay, get motivation from some source, or from your God, or from Allah, or from Jesus Christ, or from Buddha, or from Lord Christian, whatever your God or your spiritual power is, you must stay connect with that real person or divinity, as you have to be, and not only for your survival, but for the better future. Because if you will stay longer and stay positive in your life, then you can impact on your children, your family, and your neighbors, and in your town as well. That is about a quick and brief description of this story. And this story was reflected by Stephen Covey as well. When Stephen Covey himself, who is a guru, who was a legend in this world, he also tells the two stories based on this when he was in difficult situation. Because of short of time, I'm not going to describe in detail, but uh, briefly, he said in these stories, in somehow, yes, I think we can read it if we have a quick time. I would ask my
May I?
yeah, if Javeria, you can read it, please.
Yes. Well, my reading is not too good, but I'll try my best.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, yeah, you can read it, please.
I was similarly blessed to have parents who constantly affirmed their belief in me. I know that they were confident that I would do the right thing and that I could make something of my life. Two short experiences to illustrate. One is the memory of being awakened from time to time in the middle of night to find my mother whispering to me quietly as I slept. It was as if she was trying to speak something to my subconscious. What spelling is this? Subconscious. Subconscious. What spelling? What word is this? Subconscious. Subconscious. Subconscious mind such as you will do excellently on your test tomorrow. You can do anything you make your mind to do. One night I remember waking up overhearing this talk. and in the startled manner said, "Mom, what are you doing?" She tenderly replied, "I'm just telling you how much I love you and that I believe in you," and left the room.
Thank
Other
you.
experience involved some friendly, some pretend, pretend, pre, pre,
Fraternity.
fraternally brother in college who used to do some drinking, but who were ashamed to admit it on their families. One time after a trip, they had a fifth of whiskey left over, and they gave it to me. I put on the top my dresses, where I remained for many months. Never once did my parents mention in mention to it me or ask about it. They simply knew that I would not drink. I honestly believe that most powerful pen, penetrating penetrating transcendent con, transcendent form of life form of love that parent can give a child is a constant repetitive affirmation of the child's essential worth and potential when even when their current behavior would indicate the opposite. Never give up.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's a great reading. Well done, Javeria. Thank you so much. So, if you see, there are two quick incidents from Stephen Covey's personal life, and one of the great is telling about relationship between the parents and with the children, and especially in the second paragraph when he mentions that his class fellows they used to drink wine or they used to have a bottle, and when for some reason that bottle stay put on the top of near where he used to live in the bedroom. So when his mother used to come in the bedroom or the place where he was living, and but his mother never asked why this bottle is there. And that is a trust which we have to give to our children. That's a very important for us, that we as a parent we do not trust our children, or we have very low impact of trust, and that glue is so softened that uh, it breaks very quickly. So, like the same thing, this story which we learn also about that boy, that story also tells, also help us to learn that there must be a great ties between parents and the children, and the parents needs to give a high self-esteem to their children, to trust more and believe that you can do it, I trust you. These are the shouting, emotional shouting we need to knock every day, so that they should brought up and they are nurtured in a very good environment from their parents. And once if the parents believe them, then they start to believe in themselves, and that belief take them to the high pledges and the plights of the success in later the life, and that's happened in that story as well. So that's a overall story, and today's uh, session about seven habits. I hope you enjoyed, but I would ask you if you want to share your thoughts or you have any question, please ask before I will close this story.
May I share what I have learned from?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, firstly, I start from the mid of story. So half of story I have learned from nothing is impossible. Impossible is just for unwilling. So God believes in us more than our intention. So do whatever you want to do, and with the positivity, shake the world gently.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's it tells you that nothing is impossible, and everything is possible if you believe that you can do it, you can achieve it, and that's the main in bottom line of this session is everything is possible in every circumstances. We are not at the mercy of our circumstances. We are believe we do what we choose today, what we decide to do today. And even in today means now, what I will decide now, that is going to be impact in our today's life. Excellent. It's wonderful. Yeah, Jenny, you have any thought?
Well, I completely agree with Javaria. That's so true that you can do anything that you believe you can do. I love that. And the beginning of it with the loss of someone, that's so huge to me. I think you guys know that I will be at a funeral today at 1 o'clock, and I'll be losing someone very special to me that we will put to rest. And to have that this morning is huge, that we can go on and basically take the celebrations of people that we lose and accept that. And then of course what Javaria said again, that's so huge, that I love what he said about, I didn't ever question, like, I'm not a genius and I don't know everything basically, but I've not questioned really myself. So I love that kind of confidence. That's
Yeah,
huge. You don't have to be good at everything, but you do have to believe in yourself. I think that's huge.
excellent. Absolutely. And more importantly, Jenny, when it was lovely, insightful, quick story when the pre-scripting from the parents worked later in their life when he started this story that he grew up in a very great family when the parents were doing and motivating and give a positive culture in the family and to him especially. And later when his mother died, and later when he come across with the stepmother, that did not push him negatively, and even he stayed positive, proactive, because the pre-scripting from the parents were operating. It was in working when he was in difficult situation in later life. So, and that really helped, and that's a learnful thing, that if we need to, I mean, if we want to save our children for future, we start to scripting right now today, and we need to give the belief to our children that they can do, and they can do, and if this thing happen, you can do this, and they try to inspire them so that in a difficult situation or unpredictable situation in the later life, these children have so much script already, that they know that their parents already uh, taught them for future, and now they will do just practice this thing again and again. So that's a pre-scripting is very, very important. That's a relationship between parents and children are so vital, so crucial. Uh, and obviously that is also very important. and more importantly, we learned the family dynamics happens every time, for every person, mostly most of the person, and you need to get ready to cope and to handle, to manage these dynamics very positively, and stay positive, be proactive is the key to way out towards the positive life. So, thank you so much. Now we will take a quick break for 2-3 minutes, and we will start our second session. And it's going to be a great session again, because we have so much great learning outcome for the second session, which I will share with you and very shortly. So, thank you so much, and see you in a few minutes again. Welcome to our today's second session, and this session is a part two of topic of acceptance. Today's is the second part of acceptance, and today's topic is acceptance of myself and others. So that's a very this is in sort of relationship, in overall picture. This session is about. But this session is not like a ordinary or regular session, because the second session is touch and it belongs to spirituality, belongs to spiritual intelligence, where we look the things on a more deeper level, where we see the things from its root. From in this session, we think the root from where its originate. So that's why we I call it deep thinking session, and that's it. So what why we are going to learn this session, and what we are going to learn today in this session. So this session is so important. If you have a violent wife, or a violent husband, or violent boss mean the work manager, then this session is for you. If you want to know about what is a innocence and how it can play a role in creating relationships, then this session is for you. If some past negative experience are a great obstacle in creating a current relationship, then this session is for you. If you are fear about your future and you want to predict your future, then this session is for you. If you have a habit to describe the event and people in more moralistic way, like good and bad, and you don't want to do this, then this session is for you. This session is for you if you want to know about great sayings from Jesus, Jesus Christ, that I will show you as well a great quote from him. If you don't want to depend on others, uh, even as a wife, even as a husband, even as a employee, then this session is for you. And also, if you want to avoid any imperfections uh, from others or from within you, then this session is for you. So, or there may be a lot of things you can learn from this session. So this session is going to be very important for you. We will learn all these things and related questions and discussion from a great and my favorite teacher, a spiritual teacher and psychiatrist, Dr. David Hawkins, from his book Letting Go. And we will try to read a couple of paragraphs, and we will uh, try to retaliate it with our current everyday life, and we will see how we can learn and implement in our life. I'm just again reminding you, whatever you will learn from this session, You have only one chance to imply, and that is a apply now. That is a apply in a present moment. Never allow any new learning to apply in future, or reject any new learning based on your past experience. You have only one pure real moment, real reality which you can change your life is now. So that's why keeping yourself present in the session from all aspect is a key to learn and change your life. That's my very humble opinion from me and request from you to stay how you need to manage this session. So let's start it, and we will learn, read, and try to learn that how we can manage ourselves and we can understand other people uh, with the power of acceptance, and why we acceptance is so important. Like my friend Mike was mentioning his story of his boy, uh, and of course he is motivating and he is uh, doing a lot of great things as regard to managing his child, his boy, uh, because he has accepted that this is a reality, and that's why he will make more significant things in his life and also in his family prospects as well. So I would ask my Zoom audience to help me to read it, and then we will learn from it. If you are watching me on Facebook, then you can also share my screen to come on the Zoom. There is a link below. You can come on the Zoom. And if you are new to our session, then we do these sessions every Sunday, 1 p.m. uh, and that 1 hour, 1 or 2 hour is going to be change your rest of the life uh, for surely. If you believe on change and you are in phase of changing your life, so these session can helpful for you. So I would ask Jenny if you can start reading the first session, first paragraph.
Acceptance of self and others. On the level of acceptance, because of the major change in the way we perceive others, we now become aware of the inner innocence behind the frantic, fear driven struggles that have obscured it in ourselves and in our neighbors, friends, and family. The great teachers have said that the negativity which we see in a person or in society is really due to blindness, ignorance, and unconsciousness. This inner innocence, once it is perceived in others, is also perceived in ourselves. All that we did was done because we just didn't know any better at the time. If we had known a better way at the time, we would have done it that way. It seemed like a good idea at the time, we say. We see that the same blindness operating in others, and we can look past their character defects and see the innocent child within.
Thank you very much. It's a great reading. So if you see that there is a notion of innocence, and that I mentioned in my previous lectures about you as well. What is a innocence, and what is a notion of innocence? Is there is any reality as compared to our current life where we living? We tend not to be innocent. We reluctant to be innocent, and we try to become clever. We have social norms. The person who is a clever, who is a well intelligent, that will survive. Innocent people, they mostly are deceived, or they are like a dumb people, uh, and people mock them, and blah 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 like this. And this attitude made us arrogant actually. This attitude is a defense of over cleverness which we learn from our society. And what happens, why we become so defensive when we don't want to be called innocent, or we don't want to be innocent, because we don't know actually the power of being innocent. The innocent, I'm going to give you a paradigm shift here. The innocent is the natural stage of every human. Every human by default is an innocent, and therefore he or she does not have any problem, any regrets. Problem, regrets, grief, depression, frustration, anxiety comes when we remove or when we put some layers of cleverness over our innocence. And that innocence become, I mean, uh, under suppressed with our cleverness, with our self uh, fake type of attitudes upon the innocent. And therefore, we become physically ill, we become mentally ill, we become spiritually ill as well. Innocent is our by default position. And that's, you don't have to be regret, or you don't have to be uh, avoid that you are not innocent or you don't want to become innocent. Because if you are not going to become innocent, or you don't want to feel what is a inner innocence to me, then you will not reflect this innocence upon other person where you are reflecting. Because you are clever and you tend to be clever and wise in your eyes, therefore you consider or perceive the other person also clever. Because you want to be dodgy, or you want to become deceive your innocence, or therefore you will suppress the power of acceptance of yourself. Because you are not admitting, you are not accepting yourself, therefore you will treat other person that I will also not accept that person. So I will also not treat other person because I don't consider him as an innocent or her innocent. And that create a lot of problem. That negativity which we see in a person or in a society is really due to our blindness, our ignorance, and our unconsciousness. But we, unfortunately, we don't do what I'm trying to elaborate on, making you understand. So this is a very, very alarming situation for us. For the basic thing, we are in denying what we are born and what is real for our real existence, for our being. Therefore, because we don't accept ourselves as an innocent, we don't admit ourselves. And we see that the same blindness operating in others, and we can look past their character defect and see the innocent child within. Whatever, what, imagine you are a violent wife, or you come across with a violent husband, or you come across with a very violent, what is called a manager or boss. What you will respond according to situation. If you have magnify your vision of being, that person who is violent, that person is actually innocent, and he or she does not know that what he or she is trying to project upon me or on my environment is actually is built up, is a fake, is the learned things from the society, rather than these were the real things. So then that child which you will see from to inside that person will help you to cool down the moment, cool down the situation on that time, because you are not responding on the same way of that violent partner or person is behaving at the moment. So that your foresightedness or your wisdom or your action not to be act, because you know that he or she is innocent, like I am innocent also. And what I'm trying to do is based on basic humanistic thing, but that person does not know that he or she is behaving because he or she is misguided from his or her society, or from his or her childhood experiences, because all attitude we show are all learned behaviors, are all learned paradigms, are all flawful paradigms we act upon, and we think we are surviving, and we think that we are doing very well, and that's going to be impact on the quality of relationship between you and the other, and that's happening in ourselves because we are not accepting not only myself but also other. We tend to see myself as a intelligent, clever person, therefore I see the other people in the same way, and then if they respond you, you also respond with the same intensity or even higher, because you also want to become violent, because violent, to have more violent upon other, is considered as a success of that person in our everyday life. Why the violent husband is very successful, so called, because he can suppress his wife with so much power or learned behavior, uh, and his wife will also allow the thing. At the same time, she will also respond to that person one day, because she has learned how to become violent and suppress other, and she will do. And the same thing, if your boss is violent on you, and he has or she has suppressed you as an employee, then tomorrow when you will become boss, you will also have this learned behavior to violent and to suppress other. And that therefore, because nobody is accepting each other, nobody is accepting each other innocency, therefore we tend to be fight all the time, and we think that we are surviving very well, we are very intelligent, and we think that our anger, our this action is our uh, is for our survival, whereas the reality is opposite. Reality is opposite, because you know that in a medical science, more people who are in angry or anxiety, or who have this capacity to poor relationship with other because of any reason, they tend to die early, or they tend to have more illnesses or diseases in the future, rather than to those who surrender themselves to the situation and who believe on the innocency inside them, and who believe of the innocency in the other. Imagine you are a mother or you are a father, and what you do if you see the innocency in your child, or in your boy, or in your girl, and if that boy or girl try to be clever, what do you respond them cleverly, or you still respond them with innocency? You do respond with innocency, because you know that your boy or girl is a innocent being, isn't it? So the same thing become we can do when we are adult. If your husband, or if your wife, or if your boss is trying to be violent with you, or try to be clever with you, then you still need to show innocence behavior, so that other person will feel obviously guilty that he or she is doing wrong. Not only that thing, but also he or she will learn from his lesson automatically, without you do any violent behavior or response from you, isn't it? That's how you can control the situation. Do you think that if your child stone at you or slap you, and what you will do? Will you slap him or her back? No. You will just smile and see he or she is innocent, and that child will learn from his or her behavior that my parent did not respond me, so this is something which is not significant action. So next time she or he will not slap you or hit you, isn't it? So that's why how you controlling your other relationships. And that's happened with the wife and husband as well. If your husband is violent and arguing with you on something, and you are not responding, and you are just smiling in the heart on the innocency of your husband, then what will be the happen next time? Your husband will not uh, responding you in the same way, or will doing the same thing again, because he has realized that you are a wise woman, you are a wise wife, and you does not suppress with the violent behavior. That's the message you are giving silently. But what happens if you will not accept the situation, and you will act the same way to your husband or your wife or your boss? Then what will happen? There is a clash of personalities, there is a clash of the people, and bad relationships will uh, will be set up, and you will have a bad impact on your physical health. You will have bad impact of on your spiritual health and mentally also. So that's how this is powerful things we need to learn about the things, about our behavior. Yeah, Mr. Ifzal.
Yes, Maratib, thanks for explaining everything in detail. I just would like to ask, if somebody becomes a victim of suppression in relationship, like a family life or at your workplace. So you explained and told us, one person is trying to recover and you becomes the innocence. You gave the example of your children. So if for example at your workplace, if your boss is suppressing and the employee is showing his innocence, so is there any limit, like, for example, to make the relationships better? For how long or up to what level you can show the innocence, and you can expect the relationships can be better? Or if the other person, you are showing yourself from innocence, but the boss or is still, like, he is not learning any lesson, or he or she is not changing his behavior. So in this situations, what will be the, the what you can do? Like, you should uh, leave the finish the relationship, leave the job. So just would like to get some clarification, please.
It's a great question. It's a very good question. Amazing. Great. He's asking, if I summarize the thing, if you are showing your behavior or your attitude to the violent husband, or to the violent wife, or to the violent boss, and in spite of your no not violent response, or less violent response to the that person, if the situation does not happen more clear, and it happens again and again, until how limit you can do this, and then eventually you can start to become violent after a limit. That's his question is about, if I could understand very well. My response to this question is, you still have a power of choice to way out from the situation, to uh, what is called, to finish the relationship, or to take the break from the relationship, whatever the relationship. You can, if that person is violent, doing a violent behavior again and again, and you are showing the great wisdom reaction from your body language or your silent speaking words, to show that the other person is innocent and I'm innocent, but he or she does not know. If that person does not understand your response, then I must say you need to do, to avoid the situation. You should not leave that person. You need to stay away from that person or that situation. You need to quit that job. You need to resign from that job for a good reason. It's not that because you are going to be failed to maintain that relationship. Maintenance is always a two-side procedure. It's a two-side stage. If your boss or if your husband or your wife is not giving you the environment what you are deserving, then there is no point to become a victim again and again and doing this. However, the things which I'm saying you, if you have accepted your partner or your boss with your core of hearts as it is, then I believe within one or two times after her violent behavior, they will not come back to you with the same attitude, with the same violent behavior. Because this is a power of acceptance. And that is a spiritually lesson which I'm giving you. You need to believe that whatever you are doing is going to be impact on uh, a positive intensity of to the current situation, and then you will get that situation in your control. Not control because you want to be dominant on the role, because the power of acceptance will rule on the things, and the work will better, home will be more better place as well. That belief you must have. But if you still scared of these the other person violent behavior, then I will say your belief is not strong. I believe that your beliefs on the acceptance and innocence, or the belief on the power, on the love, believe on integrity, believe on positivity, believe on transformation is not strong. You must work on this. So that's why you need to work uh, very sincerely on the situation. But that will also only possible when you have changed yourself first. Then you going to be change other person. Actually, you are not going to change. Your values are going to be change other, and that's happened. But still, if it's not, then you need to change the situation. Then you need to uh, finish the relationship and or take a long break. That's how it can work. But never give your self-esteem to other. That's the main point which I want to tell you. I hope this clarifies to you. So let's go to the next one, and I I would ask um, Mike if you can read it, please, for us.
Okay. Once we see our innocence, there's an identification with others and a loss of feeling alone and stressed. We are able to see innocence even behind the most rash and apparently horrible behaviors. We look inside a person and see the frightened animal that just doesn't know any better. We are aware that if cornered, it will surely attack us and bite. It just not, it just does realize that our intentions are peaceful, and so I think it means it just does not realize that our intentions are peaceful, and so it flails out wildly.
Thank you. It's a great reading. So that is a very much reflection of what I was trying to say, that we are able to see innocence even behind the most apparently horrible behaviors. Your response to the situation make the situation better. But if you thinking that you will respond in the same way, then not going to be worse. You are going to finish your relationship in divorce. You are going to finish the relationship with the end of employmentship or end of the business partnership with the other person. So that's entirely up to you. That's But before that, you need to believe on what the if you have built yourself, then that's going to be work. But you cannot just uh, I mean, showing the innocency or believing innocency on a superficial level. That's that's not going to be work. You have to made yourself, work on yourself, and understanding what the power of self is. Once the transformation on yourself is showing and reflecting on your words, on your behavior, on your body language, then you are going to impact other. We can't change other person until we change ourselves. That's the main thing. If we don't believe on acceptance, the other person cannot believe on acceptance. If I don't accept or I don't believe on innocency in a truly way, the other person cannot believe truly on the way. Have you seen, did you see and learn from the attitude from many prophets in the history when the people used to call them bad names? Look at the what happens with the Jesus Christ when the people he tried to give the message of peace to the people, and the people how did they respond to him, or in a difficult situation? What the Jesus did on that time? Did the Jesus counter back to them with the same response when he was going to be hanged? What did he do? You know all these things. What happened when the holy prophet Muhammad was called bad names and was in a countless difficulties by the people where he was giving the message of peace and he was laying down the foundation of Islam? That response of himself was the great impact, positive impact on the other society. What happened with the Buddha when the Buddha became so innocent, when he left his palace, when he was a most richest person of that area or that country on that time, when he went to the jungles and when he went to the forest for finding the ultimate truth, what he became just innocent. He accept that how he can accept the reality, because he was believing that that's not the reality. People are dying and people are in sufferings. Then he went outside his palace forever. So that is a very much is a greatest topic and the point which I'm trying to bring you. If you are under suppress of your husband or your in-laws problem, or your societal problem in the society where you are brought up or you are living it, and you are responding in the same bad way, and if you are responding in the same intensity of the other person or group of people, what is the difference? You are not on the path of Jesus Christ. You are not part of Prophet Muhammad or the Buddha or the God which you following. So that's the very much point which I'm trying to make it, that you must work on yourself, that will reflect on other and control the situation. Then even don't worry about the if you die, even if you still uh, face some difficulties, then these difficulties you will embrace happily with smilingly, because now these difficulty are not going to give you pain. These difficulties are going to raise your rank, not only in the God eyes, but also in your eyes. So these are not small things. These are very, very deep thinking, which from which you are responding, you are operating, your ego is operating, and how you can control your husband or wife or the boss in the difficult situations. So let's try to learn. Let me give you a quote from the Bible. In the Matthew chapter 7 and it's a verse 1. Uh, the the verse of the from the Bible is saying, "Judge not, lest you be judged." And it's a great proverb from the Jesus. He said, if you judge or condemn someone else, you stand to be judged or condemned according to the same standard you are setting. So do not judge unsympathetically or hypocritically. So that's it's a greatest saying ever. We can learn from them that because our reaction, if we are judging with the biasness, personal negative experience, past event, we are allowing that thing to be happening in our life from the other person. That's why if you are that's happening with our political parties, that's happening in our houses, happening in our workplaces as well, because our reactions are on judgment, because we do not accept them as a reality, and we do not work accordingly, because we all are innocent. And because I don't believe on that I'm innocent, that's why I don't believe on other person they are innocent. And that situation becomes worse. Or at least you are both on a lose-lose situation where they are losing and you are losing, and you are doing just a compromising. And in a compromise, you are not unleashing any potential, not at all. In a compromise, you just leash your potential. You suppress not only your potential, but you are controlling the other partner in a very negative way. That's why the family do not grow. That's why the employees and the organization, they don't develop themselves, because their belief and uh, their styles of thinking pattern are egoistic, are more judgmental. So grief, depression, frustration, pride, pain, fears, these are all we are living with. And we are not going to verse path of enlightenment, courage, and happiness, love, passion. That not going to become in our life at all. And we are dying miserably. We are ready to dying, and that's why we are scared of death. Why people are scared of death? Because they did not get any great things in their life. So because they have a little hope, or the fake hope that they will get this, so when before getting these things, if they are going to die, they become more in pain, they are in suffering, and but they have to die anyway because of these things. So these are very, very important things for us. So let's try to see more what we are going to learn from the acceptance. What's the power of acceptance? So I would ask Zara if you can read it, please.
In the state of acceptance, it is possible to forgive our own past as well as that of others, and to heal past resentments. It is also
Sorry,
possible.
but Zara, your voice is not coming. I think maybe you are
Can
near
you
to
hear
the
me?
microphone. Your voice is not very clear. I'm very sorry. Maybe, yeah, try to read again.
Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, now we can hear. That's right.
Okay. Okay. So, in the state of acceptance, it is possible to forgive our own past as well as that of others, and to heal past resentments. It is also possible to see the hidden gift in past events about which we have been resentful, including their possible karmic significance. From this level, it is possible to create a different context from which to view the past and thereby heal it. With the final completion of the level of acceptance, we feel secure about the future and can move on to the levels of love and peace. Reason and logic become tools for the fulfillment of the potential of that potential. Another characteristic of the level of acceptance is that we are no longer concerned with moralistic judgment with good and bad. It just becomes obvious that what works and what doesn't work. It is easy to see what is disruptive and what is optimal without judging anything as evil. There is the elimination of guilt, which accompanies all judgments against others and ourselves. We then see the meaning of the statement, "Judge not, lest ye be judged."
Thank you very much. It's a great reading, although the voice was not very clear, but thank you so much for reading. So that's I was trying to explain a couple of points which just Zara read for us. That it is possible to forgive our past as well that of others, and to heal past resentments. You know that the many people, if even you are not Hindu or you are not Buddhist, we still believe on karmic events, and the karmic event is if you are aware about what is karma, and that is a quick definition is that your past impact negatively or positively in your future life, and what you have done in the past, that is going to be happen in your future life. So that's a karmic event. So what about if you have a bad past, if you were a violent husband, or a bad person, or you were a killer, or you have done some corruption in the past, and you die, or even you are still living, but in your future life, in your next life, in your coming life, that's bad impact is going to be impact, isn't it? So, but how you will come out from this thing if you do not accept the situation, if you do not know that how you are innocent, how you can consider yourself innocent, and how you can understand the layers of egos we have developed in ourselves, and on the base our innocence is still there. And until we don't believe on this innocence, and we don't accept other people as it is, and we don't judge them, they are too clever, they are too intelligent, they are too I mean messy people, or they are evil, or blah blah blah, then we cannot come out from these karmic accounts, because we believe on this. And because of this belief, we cannot make the situation uh, right, because we are interpreting the situation in terms of good and evil. Therefore we will remain in this good and evil, good or bad language all the time, and we will see the other all things apart from me as a evil. Imagine every person, even he or she is not religious, or he or she does not belongs to Allah, or God, or any religion. Still, he or she says some even that they are evil, or he is evil, or she is evil. They are still saying that there are a lot of evils in the world, isn't it? Because they are interpreting the world in terms of good and bad. And because he or she has so much layers of these good and bad upon based on their level of ego, what they have developed. Therefore, the whole world is look like a evil. And because we are judging everything as a evil, therefore we cannot create a relationships with them. We cannot be honest with them because I know that they will deceive me because they are evil. My wife is a evil. My my husband is a evil. My boss is a evil. My enemy is a evil. So therefore we cannot come out from this thing. So this is some sort of micromanaging the other thing and blaming everything apart from you is really a problem. This is the mindset and the thinking pattern which is taking us beyond from the reality. The reality is you did not discover yourself yet. You did not discover your innocency, your power, your love, your peace, your enlightenment inside you, which is suppressed. Therefore, you have put so many layers of the ego in a different levels, and these egos are projecting upon your external reality. And these all external reality you are now perceiving as a evil. Therefore, you do not have any healthy relationship with anyone. So therefore, the person who believes on himself or herself and who have discovered himself or herself, no matter which age you are 60 plus, you are 80 plus, you are 20 plus, you are 40 plus years of age, does not matter. What the matter is, have you discovered or known yourself? Are you truly connected with yourself? Beyond the prejudice, beyond the biasness, beyond the personal negative experiences with you, then you can work on this. So these are the very impactful things which we need to understand this. So the second last paragraph we are going to read, and I will ask Ifzal if you can read it please for us.
Yes, no problem. In acceptance, we have let go of the inner guilt, monger that found fault with even our most basic human drives. We can enjoy our physicality without moralistic aversion or accomplished self. Sorry about, I'm reading from the mobile, so the words are too small. I'm sorry. Uh, Compulsive self gratification. We accept that others have come to their understanding of life and their ethical views in a way that makes sense to them, even if their beliefs and behaviors are quite different from ours. When we see the innocence in everywhere, we can truly fulfill loving our neighbor as ourselves, and thus letting go has allowed us to reach a lofty goal without even the conscious attempt to do so. The level of acceptance is characterized by the attitude of the selflessness and service. This result from the surrendering of the negative feelings that create the small self, which remove our identification with it. Instead, inner harmony and peace are experienced as the nature of our greater self. Because the negative programs have been relinquished, there is an uh, emergence of greater creativity, inspiration, and intuition.
Thank you very much. It's a great reading. So if you see that how it is impactful that if we accept that others have come to their understanding of life, their ethical view in a way that makes sense to them, if their beliefs and behaviors are others. So, so therefore, that is going to be very important, revealing truth for us, that we need to see the world beyond from the moralistic version which we have put in ourselves, where we become too much judgmental, and we ignore that we need to accept the other things as it is, without my biasness and prejudice and judgmental things, where I need to be more selfless person. My attitude must be a selfless, and that selfless will give me the peace and make a and create a new type of relationship with other. That's the level of acceptance we are looking for. And the last paragraph, because it's already quite a long time sessions already, so let's try to wind up this thing. I would ask Mike if you can read it, please, for us.
There is certainty that our own personal needs will be met. Therefore, there is a shift in relationship so that the focus is on the welfare and happiness of others. This is facilitated by the fact that at this level, there is no longer neediness in the form of dependency on other people, because there is nothing we feel we need to get from them. In a relationship of loving acceptance, minor imperfections are no longer given serious importance and are overlooked. In acceptance, there is a decreased preoccupation with doingness, a growing focus on the quality of beingness itself, and the perfection of our own inner capacity for caring and lovingness. Although negative feelings may still arise, they are less and less frequent and are handled with greater ease. In general, functioning is now easy, and the daily activities become hardly noticeable because of their effortlessness.
Thank you very much. It's a great reading, very impressive. So, that's important things which we learn, because we have a short of time. It's already too long session. I appreciate your patience. So, in this, if we have any question or if you want to share any thought, then feel free to contact, or tell me on the message, or you can speak live as well. I invite you. Other than then, I will conclude the whole session.
May I?
Yes, Javeria.
जी, our most of reactions in our future comes from our past reaction. If we react on any situation positively, then our future then reaction in our future will be create in a soft and positive way. If we react negatively and wrongly, then our then some situations come in our future in same way, wrongly and negatively.
Yeah, absolutely. You are right in this thing, that many people who have a negative past experience or some events in the past, based on and in the light of past event or experiences, they respond in the present, and based on past experience they will create their future. And mostly people, they create negative or positive future based on their past, absolutely. uh, but remember that the negative past event must, in an ideal environment, the negative past event in your life must not reflect on your decision making. because the past event or your any um, recent experience will make your decision polluted. We will make your thoughts polluted, and this impurity will make bad decisions for future, and that is going to be happen an impact on your relationship as well, uh, and also in other employment and business related activities as well. So whatever the decision you are making, make sure it does not have any personal grudges, prejudice, biasnesses, non-judgmental interpretation should be there. Whatever you are deciding, that's very important, and that will give you the peace and calm and very secure future as well.
And I just would like to ask one thing, please, because we are discussing the past and the future as well. So just the question came in my mind. So if someone had really bad feelings in the past or really had a bad past, and those bad past feelings, he keep coming in the mind and keep reminding him the same events which have passed. Is it possible if we can, like replace them, or we can forget them, or how we can, like ignore or forget those bad feelings or the bad past to make your present better?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. Well, I will respond to that question. Is never allow your past experience or any past judgment on your present, because the past is nothing, just a memory. Your memory past is nothing to do with reality. For example, if somebody has damaged you physically or maybe mentally, and you have a poor relationship in the past, and after 5 years, when you are making a decision of working with some people, if your memory, which is stored in your brain as a thought or stored thought, stored information, if you will shuffle them, or if you will touch these thoughts and try to make it on your current environment, then obviously you are going to make polluted judgment. You are going to make a polluted or impure future, making a deal with other people with bad heart, bad mouth as well. Now the question you are saying that how we can get rid of, we can only get rid of when we understand that the past is nothing, just a hoax. Past is nothing real, just it's a memory. Past is nothing because it cannot control my life now. What is controlled is what my life is controlling by my current choices, which I'm making non-judgmental way. That's only we can remove the past. And no matter you have so many bad past event or memories with people or in society or something, you only can I'm not using word ignoring, because ignoring is something which you will believe that the past have some importance in your life. No, not at all. In spirituality or in a real life, past does not or cannot control on you. What you will decide just in a present moment, and that's the only life moment you can make decision. That's, you need to develop yourself. You need to train yourself in the way that you are not victim of any past. That's the habit which Stephen Covey is saying, habit number one, be proactive. That's we need to exercise more and more. There is no other any way we can get rid of our past, because past is nothing. And the people who are attached with the past event or stuff, they are unfortunately ill people. They are vulnerable people, and also the new life is waiting for you without any judgment. That's only you deserve to live. More soon you realize, more you will become a leader of your life, a manager of your life, a creator of your life. And more you will late, more you will involve your past, that's going to be destroy your future. No matter you can make any type of clever judgment or decision, or judgment about other people or living with them, or that's not going to be work with you for long lasting and ultimate real life. So that's my response to you.
Thank you very much, Maratib.
No problem.
So I'd like to kind of share something too. I think in life when something really bad has happened to you, where it could give you some negative responses to people later, that when something is real and it does happen, of course you have to acceptance, that this bad thing happened to us. And then you accept it, and then you do move on. I don't say ignore it. You actually want to deal with your feelings and then not judge other people later on, because it's always a new life, a new day, a new relationship. And that other person would never know what happened to you in your past. But to carry it over and over later on in your life is almost like, before when it happened to you, it wasn't your fault. But later, if it continues to victimize you, that is your fault, because you're doing this to yourself. You're taking a situation saying, well, this happened to me, and that's why I act this way, or that's why I act that way. And then you project actually almost an abusiveness onto a person that doesn't deserve it. So it can hurt you in your life going forward, not to deal with things.
So thanks, Jean, for expressing your views. Thank you.
Yeah, you are right, absolutely, Jenny. In every day is a new, every new person is a new. You have to meet them openly. Again, based not only based on any past event or emotion, but sorry. So absolutely, and these are the good words you use in sentences, which make sense a lot. That everything is new, everything, every day is new. Every new person come in your life as a new. You have to meet with these things, with the new aspirations, new inspirations, and new hopes as well. Definitely, that's yeah, absolutely. So, Aya Javeria is mentioning every moment is a new beginning. Absolutely, every that's a reality only we can have, and we have control. Uh, After finishing this session, what thing I will be doing, whatever I will be thinking, that is going to be change my life. But if these are going to be with letting go approach, with the power of um, uh, learning what we are going to learn, which with power of love, power of acceptance, we are try to understand, then our whole relationship will be based on quality, judgmental, and truly relationship. So next week, yeah, yeah. So next week we will have a last part of this series on personal responsibility that we learned in last 2 weeks that uh, acceptance that if everything is perfect as it is, how we can understand. Today we learned that what is a relationship of acceptance uh, uh, and with myself and also with others. Next week we will learn about what is our personal responsibility that this acceptance will work with us. I mean, if you are going to accept this, do you think that every time it will work, or there are a few times it won't work? And what is your responsibility when you are accepting everything? And when you are not accepting everything, then what is your responsibility? That's going to be a very important session, which will tell us the more deep understanding about the topic uh, and it will help us to understand what does it mean by responsibility actually. The responsibility we understand on a dictionary level or everyday language level, but in a real truthful way or on a spirituality based, what does it mean by personal responsibility, and what is the relationship between our acceptance and personal responsibility? So that's I'm going to cover in the next Sunday session. So you can join my next Sunday session on the link below. Register on the Zoom link, and you will get enrolled automatically for the next session. Also, we will live on the Facebook as well, and on the YouTube streaming as well. If you haven't joined my YouTube channel, I would request you to join my YouTube channel. Uh, and also, there is a blog as well. You can subscribe where I will share and I do share a lot of insightful about success and the life. So thank you so much. I value your contribution and your time and your patience to stay with me to make a different difference not only in your life and but also in the life and the significance in the life of other people around us. Thank you and see you next week.
uh, Now, just last thing, you said the next Sunday will be the last session. Are we still continue this book, letting go, or it will be the last session from this book next week?
Thank you. It's a great question. No, for this chapter only, for acceptance, what we are learning. Um, we will continue to read this book because this book is full of jewels, full of pearls and wisdom. So we will cover a lot of other things.
Okay.
Well, but we will continue because that's give us the um, overall and insight dimension of each part of our life, and we can work together to understand it and and to live by this. So
Mm.
yeah, so this chapter will end in, and this I divided it into three parts. So third part will be on this as well.
Mm.
I created a poll on the Facebook group as well yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I ask you to add your input, what type of content you want to watch in the live classes. So
Mm.
I can choose a more better topic for you uh, based on your interest as well.
Because
So
I was thinking to buy this book, letting go. So I was thinking if we keep continue reading this book, so I can order from. I think it will be available on Amazon. Uh,
yeah, it is available.
yeah. I was
Popular.
thinking if we continued, so I can order them, so we can
Yeah,
continue. I
yeah,
can read on my own time as well, and also will help with the sessions as well.
yeah, absolutely. It will enhance the learning experience
Hmm.
uh, because if we are reading any particular topic, so before session you can read it, and then within the session, you can ask so many questions which
That's right. Yes. Yeah, yeah.
you have understood already. Or,
It will be.
it will give you a true studentship experience.
That's right. Yeah. No, it will be great experience to have this book.
Thank you very much and appreciate again
Thanks.
your participation. So see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Maratib.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Maratib. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you,
Thank you.
Javeria.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Bye.
Bye,
Cheers.
Thanks from me too as well.
Mike.
Bye.
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 Acceptance of myself and others.